Hey guys, Tarke here, and I want to do a quick character update and also at the end go over a brief league mechanic which I thought would be kind of cool. Warning, my hair is kind of fluffy, I've just gotten out of the bath, don't know why that's relevant, but I look like a 80s throwback. But anyway, so we are level 53 on Tarke Blue Life and we're doing the whole Caustic Arrow thing. Pretty basic, same as the champion leveling, we're doing Silver Bow with a hidden potential. The life-based leveling for Occultist is actually really nice just because there's a lot of just easy available life alongside the tree. So we're basically at the point of we just get loads of really efficient defense early on. We get to run dual cast Temp Enfeeble, early leveling, easy, loads and loads of DPS scaling, get some early AoE, a bunch of life. It's just a really smooth leveling experience. I'm going to finish picking this stuff up and then do a bit of traveling, picking up more chaos stuff, get some more aura reservation going on, and do an early transition into CI around about level 70. But so far, so good. Just use the hero's bite. I'm purposely not using a drill neck because I'm going to try and use soul strike for endgame, and I don't want to get used to the drill neck damage. Obviously, if I was using a drill neck, that'd make the DPS go a bit better, but I like the extra AoE, and right now I'm not struggling. One thing I am going to try, I've been taking a few suggestions from people, and I'm going to try using the Voidwalker boots. These are a pair of boots which, when they were first introduced, I thought they looked incredibly interesting. I've never really played with them before, but I think in this kind of a build, it's pretty good. Basically, movement speed, gives some flat decks, which is pretty helpful. Chance to avoid projectiles while phasing. That's actually pretty nice inbuilt avoidance. You have phasing if you've killed recently, so you have phasing for 4 seconds if you've killed. Projectiles pierce while phasing, and celestial footprints, which just makes you look swaggy D's. So basically what you have is a pair of boots which give you 100% pierce, they give you 20% projectile avoidance, which is very powerful, 30% movement speed, some flat dexterity, which is actually pretty helpful. They do have the downside of very low energy shield and no resists, but otherwise they are a pretty GG pair of booterinos. We will have to run a quartz flask to make sure that we can reliably have phasing active. So what I'll probably ideally be looking for is either a reduced charges used or an increased duration quartz flask, just to make sure that I can always have it available to have the pierce active. And yeah, we don't need to worry too much about always having it available for bosses, because for bosses you don't need the pierce is for map clear. And since we're not planning on using a drill neck, we're planning on using the soul strike for the extra defense, then you don't need to worry about always having it active, otherwise you're missing out on DPS for pure single target. So it should be very easy to have up 100% of the time, and now I'm playing with my hair, we've entered into a endless cycle. So the other cool thing that I want to try is people have been spamming me in the comments about Delirium, try out Delirium, Decay bows are OP. So we're going to try out Deliriums. Now, there are multiple things you can do with Delirium. So Delirium gives the Decay mod on weapons, which basically adds a stupid, like, 750 chaos dot. And that's meant to be, even by itself, like, without bonus levels, is meant to be ridiculous for Caustic Arrow. So I'll try that out. And you can also throw Delirium crafted gloves, I believe, which gives 30% more chaos damage, which, for a single target essence drain or blight setup, I haven't decided which one I prefer. I have been using blight for leveling and quite enjoying it. Having that in the gloves could be pretty pogu shampoo. So with all of that in mind, if you aren't just the skill tree or any of that previous video, you can look at it on my channel. What is Tarke's new league idea? So when the internet was down, I was thinking, what leagues have I enjoyed, what leagues do I not enjoy? And one of the things that instantly sprung to mind was, well, everyone loved Horrendous. The people who didn't like Horrendous didn't like how rewarding it was. They thought it rewarded the game too much, it dumbed things down. I was often in that camp, but there were a lot of things I liked about Horrendous. The player retention was very high. There was lots of build diversity because items were so available and so cheap. People like Rogue Exiles, people like Invasion, people like Tormented Spirits, or they like aspects of those leagues. So what I thought would be cool would be, what if you had rogue merchants? So when you just, you enter an area, there'll be a wandering rogue merchant. And what a rogue merchant would be is it would be a random merchant who would have a random inventory. So just be like one tab, and it could be all sorts of random stuff in there. And they would sell items for other specific items. So a very base example would be if you were in Act 1 Normal Ledge, you encounter a traveling rogue merchant and he would sell you a gold rim for 2 quicksilvers. Now, you go, wow, that's pretty good. It has aspects of Horrendous and the fact that you can get cool items, be it uniques or just currency orbs or divination cards or essences. That's something that I like about it, is we're at the point now where every time a new league comes out, they come out and they have all these new things that you need to play with, all these other things that you need to collect, and it's great, but there's just so much clutter being added, and what often happens, you end up a system of you want to engage with essence, but you're struggling to find enough essences, or you want to engage with this, but you can't quite get enough of the currency. So by having a chance that, on this vendor you could find, splinters, if Breach makes it into the core part of the game, you could find Horrendous coins, you could find just prophecy coins or whatever. But anyway, so the idea is you find these merchants. Okay, cool, but where's the whole invasion aspect of it coming in? The way I have it working in my mind is they start off a non-hostile, and much like with the bandits, you can choose to attack them. When you choose to trade with them, there would be a challenge option, and you could challenge them to a duel. And if you bring them down to cull range, so 10%, then they will sell to you at a discount. So what would have previously been a gold rim for 2 quicksilvers would, for example, be a gold rim for 1 quicksilver. Now, you don't always have to have like a clean, 50% discount, but it would have this quite interesting dynamic, especially in hardcore, where you find a vendor and it's like, oh my god, this vendor is selling this GG thing. So let's say he was selling some of the doctor cards, basically the cards for the headhunter. So instead of giving like just a headhunter, he gives a doctor card for a very cheap rate. But like, let's say he wants, he'll sell you a doctor card for 500 coins, as in prophecy coins. And you go, well, I haven't got 500 prophecy coins. You're like, damn, I could get a goodish deal off that, but at the current ratio, I'd be sort of breaking even if I was just buying one off of trade. But maybe I could challenge him, and if I can beat him, then I can buy it, and then I can flip it, and I can make a big profit. But you make them super, super rippy. So when you go to, like, challenge them, you can see the mods they have, and much like how with essences, you can have ones with crazy mods on there, much like with old school invasion, much like with rogue exiles, you could start having, let's say there were 20 or 30 merchants and they were all named and they all had separate things. You could have an idea of like old school rogue exiles. When you saw Magnus, you would freak out because you'd be like, oh shit, Magnus, and there would be fear of seeing Magnus because his flame blast could one-shot you. Nowadays, not so much. But if you had that idea of like, oh shit, it's Divcard Dan. Now obviously there'd be a better name than Divcard Dan. I'm going to get a really good deal off him, but he's also rippy as fuck. So you have that like risk reward of, do I just go for the safe trade, make a small profit, or do I YOLO it? Now obviously in stuff like softcore, this becomes less of an issue. I guess you could chain suicide, but you're losing experience. So there's some weighing up there. Maybe have it that if you fail to kill them on the challenge, like if you challenge them as usual and they defeat you, they disappear. Like they take a portal and just piss off. So that way you don't have people in softcore purposely cheesing it. But I think that could be kind of a cool system. I liked Invasion where you knew that you enter near it and there was one sketchy as hell boss who would destroy you. But people found that oppressive. I kind of like that oppressive gameplay. And with each recent league, GG seems to be pushing optional league mechanics. So like with Breach, you have to walk into the Breach to activate it. Same with Essence, you see it, you go, okay, it's there, you choose whether to engage with it. So by having it as they starting off non-hostile, then, you have that thing there of like you choose to engage with it. I think it's also very good in the sense of rogue exiles already exist in this game. It would make sense that you would encounter other exiles in this world and they would be trying, not all exiles would instantly be hostile to you on site. Some would try and barter to get what they need. So, I feel like there's some interesting things there. You could have a lot of the things that people liked about Horrendous without it being as laggy as Horrendous for one, but two, just as straight out rewarding. You have 50 Horrendous coins, which they have a currency value in the fact that you can sell them to other players, but it's not like you're sacrificing anything. you're playing the game, you find the coins, the only thing you can use them for is horrendous or trading to other players. So it's not like you're sacrificing much. Whereas if you're in a situation of, oh, you're doing your thing and suddenly, oh, this dude will sell me a pair of Wanderlust for a Fen coil, then, you know, it's kind of interesting in the aspect of it's like you'd be trading with other real players. You might have a case of, oh, I really want that unique, or, oh, I play solo self-ad and suddenly hoarding all these crappy uniques is worthwhile because I can get good flip here. There might be, you know, a merchant exile who wants 100 chromatics who will sell you 100, who'll take your 100 chromatics of fusings, and there's lots of interesting things there. I feel like it'd be a good way of making div cards a more interesting system. Of div cards have always suffered from the fact that you have to farm them yourselves, that much of them are too rare to farm, so then you're waiting for them to be listed on PoE Trade. The really rare ones, when stuff first gets added in, there's just not enough traffic there. So having a chance of encountering a div card vendor who might sell you a card you need, not every card, just a choice. Like if you opened up and they had, you know, 3 to 5 things for sale, so it's not like you encounter one and suddenly you buy everything. And it's a one-time buy. It's not like if you encountered one XR with a good ratio, you could spam it. I feel like that could be kind of just an interesting-ish system. Obviously, it's not perfect. It's just something I thought up yesterday. I didn't have any internet. But I'd be curious to hear what you guys thought, if you think that would be an interesting-ish system. And what other kind of league mechanics you guys would like to see. I'll keep pushing this character, get it leveling up. I've been going kind of slow because I'm still feeling a bit ill. And obviously, I haven't had internet for the last 24 hours. But we're getting there. It feels nice. Profane Bloom, by the way, it feels absolutely amazing. So I can already tell that this character is going to feel a lot smoother than the champion. And one other final thing I do want to quickly say on the champion aspect. I feel like something that I failed to really embrace was hidden potential. I used hidden potential while leveling and it carried me. I'm using it now and it's carrying me through leveling. And I feel like that's the one advantage that life base has over CI base. It's obviously, pardon me, much easier to do hidden potential as life base because on your gear you just need one life roll and then a resist. Whereas for CI you need energy shield and then % energy shield. So you can't really do hidden potential CI builds. So I feel like for people who, like myself, prefer life to CI, who do want to keep playing life-based Caustic Arrow builds, focusing on the hidden potential aspects of it is a advantage and a justification of why you should do it as life over CI. But anyway, I'm sort of rambling at this point. I'm Tarke. This is Tarke Blue Life. What did you think of my Rogue Merchant idea? Have a good day. Bye-bye.